Colin, it's so good to have you here today to talk about your book chapter and your background in international ed. We are super excited to share this with our community. Welcome. Great to see you.
Thank you. Yeah, welcome. I appreciate the opportunity, Lindsay. Good
Absolutely.
seeing you as well.
It's been a while for sure. So, and tell us where you're zooming in from today.
I'm currently at my desk in my office in Taichung, Taiwan, where I'm the head of school at the American school in Taichung.
I see some student artwork back there. Am I right?
Yeah, that's some Dominican Republic artwork.
That's what I recognize. Very nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, so just to get us started, all of this is an opportunity for us to have a chat and just share out with our reading community, the people that are going to be checking out this amazing book that we're putting together on international education leadership. So just tell us a little bit about all the different experiences that you've had in international ed before.
Well, first of all, I want to just say thank you very much to Lindsay and Wallace and the team for even inviting me to share a bit of my story. I appreciate it a lot. And I guess my international journey starts 17, 18 years ago. Yikes, that dates me a bit. But that was in Beijing, China. And from there, I've sort of plodded around the world, bouncing back between Asia and Central America and the Caribbean. I've had 25 years in education, in education. I've been fortunate to present on various aspects in teaching and learning around the world with my partner Lindsay there many times. Okay. And also, I had the opportunity to lead various accrediting agencies and for accreditation visits and certification. So I've bounced around a fair bit around the world, and I absolutely love the experience. And I'm constantly humbled by the opportunities that I've had in different places, and I'm still learning.
I love it. I am literally surprised you haven't mentioned where you're from yet, though.
Well, the greatest country in the world, of course. Yes, Canada. Canada.
Originally. Okay, and then there was a piece in there too that you are a rugby, we'll say, player, coach, fan a little bit. How many countries have you played rugby in now at this point?
That's a good question. Roughly, 20, I would say at least 20 different countries.
Yeah.
I've been lucky to play rugby. Yeah, it's a sport I'm passionate about. And I've been able to play for a while. I'm getting a little bit long in the tooth now, so I'm slowing down quite a bit, but still like to try to pretend I'm young and get out there.
Yeah, and I think that's probably going to bring forward some great stories too. So let's shift gears over to your chapter. I personally really enjoyed reading it, and I know our readers, our community out there is going to get a lot of really useful information from it too. So just thinking backwards a little bit, remembering when you were like, I think I want to be a leader in education. I want to be a principal. I want to be moving into the director role. And then you think about your chapter and some of those stories that you're pulling out. What would you say that were some key points that you wish you had known when you first got into education leadership?
That's a good question. The books tell you, all the educational leadership books tell you, you should do this and that, and you can kind of have a game plan. But I think for myself, with the biggest learning experience that I had is people don't necessarily trust you right away. And as a leader coming into a school, that is something that you genuinely have to build, and you have to do so by leading, as my chapter is about, but leading with integrity. And as someone who is passionate about education and values integrity, you kind of just think, well, doesn't everyone see I'm saying this, I'm walking the walk, I'm talking the talk? Why aren't people invested in me? Why don't they believe me? And it took me a while to realize that is a process that takes time, and you have to keep living it day in, day out. When you falter, you let people know that you faltered. And I think that's one of the biggest takeaways, is really thinking about building trust, building that relationship with your community, having them fully believe in you. And I think it takes time, and not to get too concerned if it doesn't happen right away, because it usually will not happen right away.
The things you're saying, honestly, they just remind me of so many lessons I learned working with you. And I know you won't let me say working for you, because we were a team. But I want to bring up also in that piece, I love that phrase, trust equity. And it does take time. But also, those leaders out there that are facing those tough decisions. And something that really stood out to me in the chapter was, you will want to just look away and go, I don't really want to face that. It'd be a lot smoother. I don't have to rock the boat. I can maintain, smooth relationships with community members by not facing it. But to really lead with integrity and actually impact change at the school, you need to face those tough decisions, those tough conversations. And I think there's a lot of really great nuggets in that chapter of how you can do that, what it might feel like, but the value of it, in all honesty. So that was a really powerful takeaway, I thought. All right.
Sorry, just piggybacking on that. I think that the other big thing that I learned is not to gravitate towards a short-term win. Mm-hmm. So I can appease someone in the short term and try to get some initial, I don't know, some success, credibility. But in the long run, if you don't truly act with integrity, and if you don't truly follow through on everything that you're saying, you get found out. And again, that's something that, especially as a new head, you kind of want to get these wins with people. You want to get build this trust and build these relationships. But the short term, if it's not truly what you believe in, or what your purpose is, and you compromise yourself there, it just leads for trouble down the road. So I think thinking about the long term and not necessarily the short term wins is important as well.
I would absolutely agree. Absolutely. So you've worked in a lot of places, many countries. This is a very general question, though. In your experience in international education and having worked in your home country of Canada, what do you think makes international education unique?
Well, working in Canada was one of the greatest experiences of my life, of course. I have to say that. Yeah, Canada. I think one of the really neat things about working internationally is one, just being immersed in a new culture and experience new customs, culture, ways of thinking. And I've truly embraced that and enjoyed that over the years, being able to delve into a new world. I think it was daunting at first. It was incredibly daunting, going from Vancouver, Canada to Beijing, China, and experiencing all of that. But it's really, I think it's taught me a lot over the years, and I've appreciated that. Looking at international education, again, it's working with kids and faculty from different cultures, different backgrounds, different experiences. And at the same time, I think it's also many of the kids that we work with tend to be very influential kids, or they're kids of very influential parents. And so we really have an opportunity in the international educational world to help shape and shift thinking for kids that are going to be decision makers within their country going forward. And that's exciting.
It is. And I know you're raising your two girls in that same setting too. So just adding to that piece, what are some of those things as parents? You said we really want to make sure that our girls grow up in this kind of environment. What are some of those key things that really provide those rich opportunities, you thought?
I think just having them be immersed in culture, immersed in language. My girls are now continuing with their Spanish and learning Mandarin. And it's actually really exciting because the other day, you know, we were driving along and my eldest was pointing out, oh, that means this. And they're looking at characters, which I just think look like beautiful artwork. And there's, Daddy, no, that's a word. This means this and that. And having them start to connect with the language as well, it's powerful. And I think the girls are getting an experience where their mind is being open to so many different cultures and experiences. And I think it really broadens their perspective of the world.
I will never forget early days when I met them, and they were so young, and they said they had been to over 30 countries already. So I can only imagine how it's expanded by now. So,
yeah, we like to travel.
So when we requested that you write this chapter, we said, okay, but you have to squeeze it into a pretty small amount of words because we want to make sure we can capture enough stories. Was there a story that you thought, if I could fit it in, I really would want to share this with aspiring or new school international education leaders? Was there something that didn't quite fit that you would have loved to include?
I mean, potentially, yeah. I mean, I've had some interesting experiences, we'll say, over the years. One experience I had, I was a new head, and I think I was maybe 2 weeks on the job, and I had someone come into my office, but they happened to be a parent and a teacher and a board member. No conflict of interest there. Anyway, so they come into my office and I'm greeting them and happy to see them. And I'm trying to figure out, okay, so who am I talking to? Am I talking to the parent, or am I talking to you as a teacher or as a board? And I think the experience I had there it was just, again, really trying to stick true to how I would relate to each of those people separately, and how I would engage in the conversation. So it started off as, I'm coming in as a parent. Great. Okay, I've got my mindset now. You're coming in as a parent. I'm talking to you as a parent. And then all of a sudden she slipped in, whoa, but we as the board. And I thought, whoa, wait a minute. Am I talking to a board member now, or am I talking to a parent? Because a parent will connect this way and a board member this way. And then, oh yeah, no. Well, we, the teachers, think. And so it was just it was a very interesting experience. And I think what may have caught the person off guard a little bit is that I kind of shifted depending on where she was coming from, rather than placating, because you're a board member or because of a parent or teacher. So that it was an interesting experience, which led to many more interesting experiences. But
I have no doubt. And I'm just thinking back as well, in the chapter you're speaking about these things, it's essentially you're building that trust equity. You're getting tested in a sense, right? Mm-hmm. Which often is the case for a new leader. And so being prepared for that, thinking those potential scenarios through, I don't know that anyone could imagine encountering an individual who had all three of those titles though, but it can happen. It can happen. All right, now, so another story opportunity, but let's think about just your life as someone who's been living in so many different countries over the years. And I know you have some good stories. So international education, it's full of adventure, humor, just life-threatening, hair-raising, humbling, hilarious stories, whatever they may be. But when you are out in the normal world, we'll call it, and you sit down with someone that doesn't really get international education, what are some of those stories, or a story that you often tend to share?
That's a good question.
Losing passports and
sorry.
Losing passports in China, or I can think of a few.
Yeah, that was in Hong Kong.
Fair enough. Yeah.
There are many different experiences I've had, and I think part of just in general, I'll answer that I've always been amazed by the nuances of new countries and new experiences, and I've been fascinated by going into places and learning that new signs or new I'm not let me take a second here.
That's cool.
Sorry. No, it's just there's so much. It's like actually when I went home the very first time and I was living in Beijing and I had my head just explode with all the new things that I've learned and experienced, and watching Mercedes go down the road, and then there's a horse and cart in the same street and they're going side by side, or going into a bathroom and seeing that there's no actual bathrooms and it was just slits in the ground. Mm-hmm. And people, but going back home after experiencing that for a year, my buddy's saying, hey, yeah, so how was China? And I'm wanting to explain to him, this. And I'd say, yeah, it was amazing. And then the conversation would switch to, yeah, do you know that John got a truck there the other day, and he's getting a picket fence, and you just realize that once you start heading off into international education and having those experiences, that it's hard to relate again, to share with people that haven't had those experiences.
I know what you mean. I remember the very first time I went home too, which was not too terribly long ago, and I was so disappointed. But at the same time, when I went back to my international community, I was like, these are my people. This is my tribe. I'm home again, right? Yeah. And you're embraced by that. It's a great story. So
I think sorry, just the other thing that you mentioned about humbling experiences, I'll say one of the things for me that I've been fortunate, and it's been a couple of different experiences, where coming into a new school and having pretty strong beliefs and follow through and integrity, that sometimes is difficult for people. And I've had people come up to me, after maybe they weren't fans of me within the first year or second year, but then after year 3 or year 4, come up to me and really thank me for helping change their professional mindset. And when experiences like that happen, I mean, it's an incredibly humbling experience, and it kind of makes it all worthwhile. It takes 3-4 years at times, but it makes that, that journey of really acting with integrity and following through and leading makes it worthwhile.
Yep. I've seen evidence of it. I can absolutely attest. It is true. So, and my last question for you, I'm going to ask you to give away a secret. I know you've traveled to a lot of interesting places. What is that one spot that you're just saying, if I could go back there tomorrow, that would be the first spot I would go?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's quite a few different places, and it depends on the mindset. But I think, and you might feel the same as well too. But there's something pretty special about the area in the Dominican Republic where we lived. I think the vibe, the cultura, was something pretty special. Waking up and having the choice between going to 20 meters and going to our pool in the backyard, or going 50 meters to the ocean, was something pretty special. And again, I think what also made it, not just the beauty and the water, but was the culture and the people and just the vibe. So at some point, I think I might find my way back there for a period of time.
The pandemic needs to end, right? That'll be a stop. I can definitely imagine. And you are absolutely right. It is an amazing place. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Colin, just for a discussion here. This is going to help our readers get to know you a little bit, add some layers to that story that you shared in your chapter. We hope everybody out there really enjoys the book on international education leadership, gains wisdom, insights, experiences from it, and just enjoys what is a really incredible journey of it all. So thanks for joining me today.
Thank you very much for having me. And and I hope everyone enjoys the book.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching and learning with us at SchoolRubric with educators from across the globe. For more access to articles, magazines, podcasts, live episodes, our international school directory, courses, and more, visit us at schoolrubric.org. Thank you.